Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture is titled M104, the Sombrero Galaxy in infrared. So what do we see here? Well, here we see a famous galaxy known as the Sombrero Galaxy, cataloged as M104 as the 104th object in Charles Messier's catalog of objects that were not individual stars made back in the 1700s. So this is one of over 100 objects that he identified, and this one happens to be a galaxy. Now it looks a little different here. In fact, it looks like a ring floating in space. That's because here we're not looking at it in visible light, but in infrared light using the Spitzer Space Telescope. So this is a recently taken image and has been studied and converted into a false color, as we'd have to do with infrared, because all infrared is false color to our eyes, because our eyes are not sensitive to infrared light. And what it shows is then that the dust is then brighter here than other portions. So what normally looks like a dark dust lane in the Sombrero Galaxy, a dark dust lane across the central region, here shows up as a bright disk. Now that's because it's made up of dust. Dust is cooler than a star and therefore emits temperatures and wavelengths that are much longer. So while stars emit primarily visible light, dust will emit primarily infrared light, and that allows us to study things like this galaxy by using an infrared telescope. It allows us to see the dust that otherwise just appears dark because it's not giving off visible light. And now we can actually see it and study that in more detail. The infrared light then does not emphasize the stars. Stars don't give off a lot of infrared light. Well, some of the cooler stars do, but overall a typical star like our sun gives off most of its light in the visible portion of the spectrum. And other brighter stars also give off visible light and ultraviolet light, just depending on their temperatures. So we look at different objects like this across the spectrum, and we look at the universe in all different wavelengths because it tells us different things about the universe. We can study in infrared things that are much cooler and that give off longer wavelength light that allows us to study those objects that we might not see well or at all in the visible portion of the spectrum. We also study things in ultraviolet and X-rays and gamma rays, much higher energies, looking at far more energetic objects. And that allows us to see all of this together and get a better idea of all of these types of objects. So here we get to see the Sombrero Galaxy, one of the prominent galaxies in the Virgo cluster, a nearby large galaxy cluster, much larger than our own local group, that we can study in the infrared and see and study its dust lane in much more detail. So that was our picture of the day, titled M104, the Sombrero Galaxy in infrared. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be meteor drift. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.